So today we had some great news for Tesla stock, and along with that we also saw Tesla stock have a bit of a green day pushing upwards, which is also in sync with what I talked about in my previous videos about Tesla most likely closing up higher as we move closer towards the end of November. Now I provided a multitude of different reasons on why I see this happening, but the last trading session that Tesla had, of course before today, Tesla fell down quite a bit, and I got a lot of poop in the comment section. I got a lot of individuals saying, oh, you're wrong, Tesla stock fell down a bit today, you're completely wrong. And look, I want you guys to pretty much understand this, and I want to make it very clear. I never said that Tesla stock is going to have a green day every single day towards the end of November. Of course not. The market ebbs and flows, and so just because Tesla had a red trading session in the last trading session, it doesn't mean that Tesla can't close up higher as we move closer towards the end of November. In fact, what we're currently seeing is that the overall S&P 500 is seeing historic November gains on lower yields and a softer US dollar. Now, this is exactly what I told members of the Push and Profit private group to keep an eye out for. I said, hey, if the 10-year treasury yields start coming downwards and they stay there, well, that could be good for the overall market, as there's this inverse relationship between stocks and the 10-year treasury yield because of something called a risk premium. See, if the 10-year treasury yield starts going upwards, well, that takes away appetite to invest in stocks. But what we're currently seeing is that the 10-year treasury yields are pretty low from where they were just recently at their peaks. And so what we're seeing is the overall markets push upwards. But again, guys, look, I never claim to have a crystal ball or that I could see the future. All I'm saying is that I pay attention to a multitude of different data sets, and this way I have a holistic view of what's currently taking place. And look, we are having some good news for Tesla. And this is because the Tesla FSD version 12 has reportedly started rolling out to employees. Now, what makes this news pretty hilarious is that we were actually warned or actually informed about this update coming, but no one took it serious, including myself. For example, on Twitter, we had an individual by Homar's Catalog tweet saying, hey Elon, any guess on when customers might be first able to try out FSD 12? And Elon responded 2 weeks ago exactly, saying about 2 weeks. And so here we are 2 weeks later with this version outwards. And if you guys don't know, this version is a huge update because this is the first version where the word beta is going to be removed. And of course, if you guys saw the live stream with Elon Musk testing out this version, then you guys saw the tremendous amount of improvements that it had while Elon Musk was using it. But I want to mention something. See, the idea of Tesla stock pushing upwards towards the end of November is really just something that's pretty provisional, short-term, ephemeral. It's not something that I think is going to sustain itself, as I pretty much believe this is a buy the rumor, sell the news event, especially with the Cybertruck delivery date event coming at the end of November. And so, of course, I believe that Tesla is most likely going to start pushing upwards, but I don't think it's going to stay there. And that's not because I'm not bullish on Tesla. Look, I'm bullish on Tesla in the long term going to 2025, 2030. But when you look at things from an economic perspective, things are not looking too well. And we know that Tesla is a very rate sensitive company, as we know that if interest rates are high, well, it makes it hard to finance a vehicle, let alone a new vehicle, right? If you're trying to buy a Tesla and right now rates are at 8% with stellar credit, well, that means that if you're below average, and trust me, I know a lot of individuals don't have great credit, well, that means they could pay anywhere from 13 to 14, 15% to finance a new Tesla vehicle. And so that's difficult for individuals to, pretty much in this economy, buy a new Tesla. And so that's why I believe that 2024, we're going to have some challenges with Tesla. Now, I'm not saying Tesla's going to crash. I'm not saying that at all. I'm still bullish on Tesla. I'm just saying right now I see Tesla moving up towards, in the short term, towards the end of November, but it's not something I think is going to sustain itself. But in the long term, I think Tesla is going to do very well. Now, I want to highlight this tweet I found on Twitter from someone saying that most people don't understand that during a recession, unemployment doesn't rise a little, it goes up a lot. And we're starting to see that process now. Rates also don't come down a little, they come down a lot. Pick your exposure and asset classes accordingly. Now, the reason I wanted to highlight that tweet is because currently we're in this Goldilocks phase. And the reason I say this is because right now, the whole idea and the whole rhetoric is that we're going towards a soft landing. This is what the media is telling us. This is what the Federal Reserve is telling us, that they believe a soft landing is coming. But one of the things we have to understand is that the Federal Reserve hasn't always been too correct on their predictions. I mean, just think about just a couple of years ago when they said inflation was transitory and it wasn't going to last, yet here we are still, battling and fighting inflation. And so they're saying that a soft landing is imminent, but one of the things we have to understand is that everything right now looks like a soft landing. When you see jobs just cooling off just a bit, it looks fine. But you have to cool off a bit before you get down to the area where things are too cool. And what I mean by this is where unemployment right now, yeah, the Federal Reserve wants unemployment to kind of tick upwards, but we may end up seeing unemployment actually skyrocket a much more higher than what the Federal Reserve anticipates, and we're probably going to see them cut much more in the second half of 2024 than we actually anticipate, or what the overall markets are anticipating. But if you want to see how bad the economy is, check out this article that just came out today from the Wall Street Journal saying why you should be able to sell your kidney. I mean, for crying out loud, when individuals are considering selling a kidney to go ahead and make it through the economy, well, that's not a good indicator. But speaking of indicators, I've been highlighting for quite some time on this channel and also within the Push and Profit private group that the leading economic index has contracted for the 19th consecutive month in a row, which of course is not a good sign for the economy. This is pretty much a leading indicator saying, whoa, things may end up getting pretty bad.
It's happening.
But look guys, a recession isn't necessarily the end of the world, and one of the things I told the members of the Push and Profit private group a multitude of different times is that recessions are where people actually build wealth. And so if you're able to stay employed or stay having income coming in and make yourself more valuable by, probably getting a new skill or getting another license, or, just doing whatever you can to get more valuable, get a job, a better job, or maybe a pay increase, whatever you can do, those who can survive will be the ones who could buy a bunch of assets for a huge major discount, like for example Tesla stock in the first 2 quarters of 2024, or maybe real estate. Of course, we're gonna have some great real estate deals coming in the first 2 quarters of next year, but those who could survive, the storm of a recession, those are the ones who actually build true wealth. I mean, you could look throughout history, you'll see this time and time again. But look guys, at the end of the day, you have to do whatever you see value for yourself and your family. Look, as I mentioned earlier, my thoughts on Tesla for the long term still have not changed. My long-term portfolio, I'm not doing anything special for Tesla. I'm still holding, I'm still going long on Tesla. I've been going long on Tesla since 2017. And I plan to go long on Tesla for much more time, especially when you see the conditions going on with a lot of the legacy automakers where they're actually pulling back on their plans for EVs because they're unprofitable and they have to focus on their internal combustion engines, okay? So we're pretty much primed to do very well for Tesla in the long term. It's just that, of course, in the short term, 2024, the beginning, there's gonna be some challenges, but essentially the essence of what I'm saying in this video is, look, going into the end of November, I believe we're gonna have a little bit of a push upwards, but I don't think we're gonna reach into all-time highs just yet. I don't wanna get anyone excited. If you're bullish on Tesla, you're gonna have to be a little bit patient on this if you're bullish for the long term. Of course, if you're trading, completely different story. Investing and trading, 2 separate vehicles. This is why I have a long-term portfolio where I just buy and hold. I don't touch stuff. And then I have my short-term trading account where I trade the fluctuations in price, okay? So if you're not sure what you're doing, maybe you should ask yourself, well, am I trading or am I investing, right? Because I have a feeling a lot of individuals don't even know what their approach is for the overall market. So you have to ask yourself, what are your plans for Tesla, okay? But also, I do want to mention something else. If you guys have not done so already, consider tapping that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future video. And also check out the links in the description below, because one of the links is a link to my free weekly market post insights. And again, guys, it's completely free. Every single week, I send out an email talking about what's going on in the overall economy. So definitely check out that link below as well. And before you guys go, make sure to check out this next video right over here. Or if you saw that video already, consider checking out this video down below. Take care, guys.